provide council with an update on the Mapleton Road, County Road 70 project that is slated for 2026. I'll hand it over to Jordan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me come and talk about this project. It's something we've been working on now for 4 years. When I was here last August, I kind of gave you guys a preliminary design, kind of what we were looking at doing. And talked about some of the safety deficiencies, what we're seeing out on the road that we need to, looking at correcting. And a lot of this stuff in this presentation will be a little bit just kind of the same stuff, but I just really want to come and show you guys our final design concept, get any comments or answer any questions that you have before I would come back in a month or two looking for a municipal consent. So, like Brad said, this is the County Road 170/Mapleton Road reconstruction project planned for next spring of 2026. It starts on the west side at the county line and goes just east of Mountain Ash Drive. When we started looking at this project, we had a whole list of goals of what we sought to do for this project. Number one was safety out there, whether it be the motorists, the pedestrians, the residents, the general public, and also from a safety standpoint, the existing road has got many deficiencies that just they don't bode well for the traveling public in vehicles. Back in early 2000s when it was paved, things were different, standards were different. So we see the pavement is in rough shape, and the reconstruction project is in line just due to the fact that there are so many safety deficiencies, and it's just would just not be a good financial decision just to overlay it and leave it as is. So like I said, we want to improve the pavement quality, define the right of way, protect the environment. I know there's a creek crossing that we have in this project where we've got landing turtles, and this is a very, very sensitive area, so we want to make sure we think about the environment when it comes to the design. We want to try to minimize property impacts to the residents that live along here. With a project like this, obviously there's going to be some pushbacks. We're trying to minimize it and do what we can to work with the property owners along the stretch of road. And then with this construction project, we want to improve the drainage. Right now, there's some drainage deficiencies and lack of snow storage, so that's another thing we're looking at doing. We're also trying to design a road that discourages high-speed traffic, and as you probably know, these roads can be a little bit difficult to try to discourage it, but at the same time, we have to allow for what the conditions of the road are. So throughout this design, we're looking at two different types of segments, a rural and a suburban design. 90% will be that rural design with a 100-foot right-of-way, 50 feet on each side, the 12-foot lanes, and 6-foot shoulders. And then as you get east toward Mountain Ash, we're looking at that suburban design with the curb and gutter with 33 feet of right-of-way on each side of the center line. So these next 6 slides are just kind of a plan view that goes from the county line to Mountain Ash Drive. The reason I just threw these up there is I've got about 6 or 7 slides that show a plan view of our construction limits and the right of way. One thing I wanted you guys to take away from this is it's a little bit difficult to see, but the purple lines are our construction limits, and there's a black dash line. It's right on the outside there. That's the right of way that we'd be looking to purchase. So as you go from west to east, we try to keep the center of the road right on the section line, so that as we look to purchase that extra 17 feet of right of way on both sides of the road, we're trying to do what we can to purchase equal amounts from both residents, doing our best not to encroach on one person's property more than the other. We do have a couple infiltration ponds that we'll be looking at putting in, just due to the fact that we'll be expanding out there. Due to some MPCA requirements, we need to be able to store some of that water, so it doesn't, so we don't cause any negative effects. If you're familiar with the road, as you go east, you get into that low-lying area near that creek crossing. Like I said, we've got multiple culverts going in, and some of the culverts are designed specifically for those landing trails to be able to cross the road. We've also had some cultural resource issues that state archaeologists had us redesign some of the project to stay out of those culturally sensitive areas. So there are some areas where the alignment, as you get into that wetland, shifts a little bit north or south, and that's due to the archaeologists and their decision on where we can and can't construct the road. Curb and gutter on the south side of the road starts near just west of that creek crossing and continues all the way to Mount Nash. And here's Mount Nash Drive there. As you kind of come up the hill and get into what I would consider more of like a dense residential area as you approach the school grounds, at that point we're looking at putting in curb and gutter on both sides of the road and decreasing the right of way to 33 feet. One thing that I've talked to multiple residents out there about is when we decrease the right of way to 33 feet as we come into town, we will have to purchase some temporary easements, and the temporary easements are just for us to do the construction to match into their front yard or their property. We don't want to go out and leave them with a 3-foot vertical drop right down to our road to the back of the curb, so we'll be purchasing some temporary easements to allow them to grade it so they're able to mow it and so it's usable for them. Just east of Mount Nash, we're putting in a right turn lane for westbound traffic to turn on Mount Nash Drive. And as you can see, we'll connect with Mount Nash just about 150, 200 feet north of the intersection. I know it's probably a little difficult to follow through these, but I wanted to show them just to kind of see kind of what we're doing. This is just kind of an overall summary of what's coming up. Like I said, I'm looking to come back in a couple months for municipal consent. We'll be planning on clearing and grubbing, tree removal this winter, probably before March 31st due to the northern long-eared bats. We do that in the winter time because then they're not affected by it. And then construction would start spring/summer 2026. Right now, we're starting to stake the right of way out there. This week and next week, we'll be putting some lap in the ground, and I'll be going out and meeting with all the property owners, having discussions with them on, getting their thoughts and looking at tree damages, property damage as far as fences or other landscaping stuff that we may be damaging and trying to work that into our offer letters for the residents. That being said, I know it was a lot, but do you have any initial questions or thoughts or comments or anything? Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. You allowing me to come and speak. And yeah, if you do have any questions, reach out, send me an email. Certainly call the County Highway Department. I'd be more than happy to.
Are you getting any comments from the residents?
A few. I haven't reached out to a lot of them. Some of them I see when I'm out, out on the project, kind of doing some preliminary work. And for the most part, I'm getting good feedback, especially on the 6-foot pedestrian shoulders. There are a few people that are not in favor of that right away going from 33 feet up to 50. project can look like when it's complete.
By now, have they all been notified this is coming, or? Yeah.
Yes, they've been notified in May, I believe. I sent a letter out just notifying them that, this is coming, and we're putting together some packets with some MDAs, or minimum acquisition.
When did you hold the open house at the city public works facility?
That was last December.
Last December?
Yeah, last December. Had a really good turnout. I was really impressed with the amount of people that came out to that meeting.
Great. When is municipal consent, do you think?
I believe you had said the August meeting is pretty busy, so maybe September might be a better opportunity for me to come back.
Do you think it's September?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now, is in September.
Something else, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, George. Motion to adjourn the workshop. Brad, Mateo,
Second.
Patrick, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. You have 5 minutes here.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. Any additions or changes, Brad?
There are no changes.
Okay, any written public comments?
We received no written public comments.
Okay, at this time, public comments is on the agenda. If anybody would like to address us about something that's not on the agenda, we would entertain those comments at this time. So give us your name and address.
My name is Lucy Felton. I live at 5241 Jordan Road in Baxter. I am a Baxter resident, mother, and registered nurse. I am here tonight because I've noticed a growing interest in sustainable living among families in our community, especially when it comes to food security and environmental responsibility. More and more residents are looking into raising backyard chickens, my family included, not just as a hobby, but as a way to reduce food waste, provide fresh eggs, and teach kids about where food comes from, as well as the benefits of improved mental health and providing learning opportunities and new skills for children, especially for those with special needs like my 9-year-old son. Many cities have embraced this, making it easier for families to keep small backyard flocks. When I began researching our city's ordinance requirements for having chickens, I noticed that the current lot size requirements are 30,000 square feet, unintentionally restricting a lot of residents who would otherwise be ideal candidates for responsible chicken keeping, my family included. I was surprised to learn that due to our lot size of 15,000 square feet, and despite meeting all of the other ordinance requirements, including all of my neighbors' signatures, we wouldn't qualify as the ordinance currently stands. I've spoken to a few neighbors who were also surprised to learn that they would also not qualify due to their lot size, even though we all maintain well-maintained yards and a clear plan of care. We are families that are environmentally conscious, engaged, and interested in doing things the right way, including the possibility of filing a land use application for an ordinance amendment. I'm just wondering if since the chicken ordinance was implemented in 2020, if there have been any issues with permitted chickens, and if the council has ever revisited the impact of this current lot size restriction on the community. With the current ordinance requirements needing all surrounding property owners' approval, and the chickens only being allowed to be in their coops and runs, with also this proposed screening plan that is required, is a 30,000 square foot lot necessary. I would like to see hopefully an amendment to the ordinance to decrease the current lot size from 30,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet to increase access for families and community members who would like to have backyard chickens, and to move towards a more sustainable lifestyle and food access goals. Thank you for your time and for considering this potential change for our ongoing growth of the community.
Okay, thank you. We got a lot of time involved in that.
Yeah.
It was brutal from time to time, and it wasn't done lightly. There was, even equal amount on both sides, yes, no, we don't want it, we do want it, and kind of came up with what we came up with after much deliberation, so if there's gonna be a change of heart or mind, we'll have to take a look at that. With that, how would we go about that, Josh? Should I put that on an agenda at some point, or?
Yeah, so there's a couple options really. There's always an opportunity for a property owner to make a request for a zoning ordinance amendment application. That of course carries with it a fee. So that's an option. And then also if the council, based on what you're hearing, is interested in directing staff to consider looking at it, you can direct us to, take a look at it as a council directed kind of staff work item. So either one of those options is a possibility on the table.
I would just make a suggestion that you put it on a future agenda and bring us the statistics. I mean, how many are doing it? What are we hearing? Positives, negatives? I've heard nothing since the ordinance was passed. As far as a uprising of people, all your neighbors and everything, I don't hear that. So, but maybe there is. Maybe you guys are hearing those things and we aren't. So maybe we can have that conversation and decide if we're wrong or want to do something different there. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Council.
I haven't heard anything in either direction. I'd be happy to talk about it.
Yeah, I'd be open for consideration.
Okay. We heard you.
Thank you.
We'll see what happens there. Thanks. Anybody else? Other public comments? Okay, we'll move forward then with the consent agenda. The following items are considered non-controversial by staff and are recommended to be read and passed in one motion. Any council person, staff, citizen, or meeting attendee can request one or more items be pulled from the consent agenda. And the item will be pulled and addressed immediately after the passage of the consent agenda. Otherwise, the following items will be passed in one motion. Number one, approve the city council work session minutes from June 17th, 2025. Number two, approve the city council minutes from June 17th, 2025. Number three, approve the payment of bills and finance report. Number four, adopt resolution 2025-057, receipt of the feasibility report and calling for a hearing on the improvement from the 2026 Clearwater Road, North Glendale area, Brentwood Circle Street, and utility improvements project, municipal project number 4068. Number five, approve the SEH feasibility report update, survey services, soils investigation, design, bidding, right-of-way support, and the assessment hearing contract in not to exceed amount of $467,200 for the 2026 Clearwater Road, North Glendale Avenue, Brentwood Circle Street, utility improvements project, municipal project number 4068. Number six, approve the creation of a second general investigator position. Number seven, approve the sale of decommissioned 2018 police vehicle.
Move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Alyssa. Any further discussion?
I just want to make mention, Your Honor, with the approval of number 5, you are also consenting to the improvement hearing for July 17. We do need a quorum in order to hold that hearing, so before you vote, I do need to know and make sure that we will have a quorum for that evening before we go and do the notice, which I believe is to be sent out tomorrow. Tomorrow, correct? I just wanted to make sure, not one thing, trip over ourselves to get it approved and then not have a quorum, so thank you.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. So we're right on down to council comments, Connie.
Just one, we had the opportunity to go to the League of Minnesota Cities conference in Duluth last week and listen to keynotes, 2 speakers on conflict resolution. And as I'm listening, it was very good, but I thought we are so fortunate as a council and with our administrators that I'm not aware of any real serious conflict that we ever had any issues resolving. And I'm just really grateful that we were able to go to the conference as a group. And I heard from quite a few people that wow, your whole council's here, wow, your city administrator's here, assistant administrator's here, and that was, people were quite impressed, and I just thought it was a natural thing, but maybe we should have been an aha moment that we're fortunate that we do all get along. Actually have fun when we're away from City Hall, so thank you for the opportunity.
Zach?
I just have a quick follow-up to the recent discussion we had on roadway widths and the standards. And I was just looking, as I was looking at the feasibility study, at the code, the chart for 11-4-2 shows local street minimum of 26 foot. And with the context of our discussion of trying to get to 24 when it's reasonable and arguing upward, I was wondering if it would make sense to just simply change the minimum number from 26 to 24, which does not prevent anyone from coming with a larger than minimum road, but would allow for 24 without having to deal with saying that we're going outside of standards. So I just wanted to toss that out there. I didn't know if we're talking about doing that or not.
Yeah, right now we're working with the engineering consultants and doing the proposed modifications to our ordinance to reflect the directive of the council. Perfect. So we are in the process of trying to put that together. I don't know the timeline on that, but I can make sure that I get you an update in the weekly.
Sure. Yep, just wanted to make sure that that stuff, if it needed to be codified, that we just do it.
So it's all in the works in that feasibility study, and what you're approved for the improvement hearing, the only one that we're recommending 26 is Clearwater Road, all of Lindale and Brentwood Circle is 24 feet in the feasibility study. Okay. Anything else?
Patrick?
No problem.
Mark?
No comment.
I'd just like, if you just give me a minute here to, I don't think we do this often enough, and talk about our employees. First of all, we have a great city, I'm a little prejudiced about that, but within that city, we've got great employees also. And just some recent examples, I got a phone call Juneteenth morning. There was a water main break down on Forest Field. Some frantic neighbors. The water was gushing out, and there was concern about a cave-in and yada, yada, yada. They had tried to call City Hall, and of course there was no answer because it was a holiday, first time we've experienced the holiday. And so they panicked and they gave me a call, which was fine. So I knew there had to be some kind of a standby situation there. So I called the police department, and I got one of our police officers, and I told him what the situation was, and I said, I know you're gonna have trouble. This is the wrong day, to be doing this. No problem. He says, I've got a call out roster here. He says, we'll get right on it and we'll take care of it. I hung up and I ended up having a meeting myself in Brainerd. When I came home and I drove by there, it was done. It was staked out and caution tape and cones, and everybody was home. It was a done deal. And I think he was there like in 20 minutes, something like that. It was just really pretty phenomenal. And then we had one of our employees had some severe storm damage with the wind, both blocking the roads and our driveways and some of the buildings. And her peers, this group, on the same day, another holiday story, got together and drove up there and got the trees cleared, spent quite a bit of that day, their holiday, off to help out that fellow employee. Kind of heartwarming. And then, mowing ditches is a big deal for me, isn't it, Trevor?
It's a big deal with the mayor.
He gets irritated, but I just think it's so tacky when it's not done. And we're ended up doing other people's mowing, I might add also. But when I was coming down 210 then yesterday and coming to the stoplight at Baldwin, at the old Baldwin, and I looked over at the mega field there, just mowed to the max, all the ditches to the north. And I know it's getting ready for the holiday because first impressions are important. When people are coming, that's the first intersection basically. When people are coming into our city, and to me it's just an important scenario. And that puppy is more like a golf course. It was just unbelievable. And so just kudos to that driver. You can pass that on. He did a great job. And then, these aren't our people, but I was really pleased with how fast Anderson Brothers got this road done. I mean, all the way through our city, working nights, and I'd get up in the morning, head to town, I had a path ready, it was already paved, and so they really got that job done quick, did a good job, and it's the least, in my opinion, the least amount of inconvenience to our people. So just some things to be thankful for and to be appreciative of. City Administrator?
No report, Your Honor.
Okay, anything from our attorney?
No, sir.
All right, then I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
I-
Have a great, safe holiday.
As well.
We'll see you on the,
Yeah.
we'll see you on the other side.
Just know that the 210 project is wrapped up, but the signal lights up, they still have to. Some things, there will be lane closures here and there, but for the most part, it's